The update is still not live, but there has been some changes made to the update on the beta server, and there's some decent things, there's some not so decent things, and honestly, I wish I could say I'm more excited, but it is what it is. So we'll go through the changes that are currently being made to the next update in the beta test server. Let's begin with the more pleasant changes first. Our beloved Bazooka boy is getting some love in the next update. There's two major things that are changing for this hero. The first one is the current Rocketman promotion. After this update, the Rocketman promotion will be able to target both air and ground monsters. So instead of just being able to hit the ground monsters, this promotion can now also target the air monsters as well, which is at least going to be useful in hell mode for sure, because you can just equip this guy with stun items, slow items, and use it against the flying monsters as well to stall them, so you can get more time to kill those flying enemies. So this is going to be useful for sure in the hell mode. I haven't had really time to properly test this yet, but this promotion seems like a direct upgrade to hell mode builds in that sense. However, as you can see, there is a third promotion path in here, which is called the Cannoneer. This is completely new promotion for the Bazooka man, and this guy will shoot cluster shots, and his ability will turn them into exploding clusters. And he cannot apply apparently knockback, stun, or slow, so he cannot be used as a crowd control unit, but he can be used as a damage dealing unit instead. Let's go take a look at the Cannoneer on my build right now in here. So this is my Bay build. For this test, I have set this in a way that I would be dropping my Town Archers and replacing them with the Cannoneer. The Cannoneer is like 0.04 ratio for me for this setup. And I am running a crit chance, area skill damage, sword with a cluster shot +2 rune, some fire damage in here as well. I will show this rune in a moment. And double critical chance with area skill damage in here, with some attack speed as well in here. And the fire orb in here for more critical damage. Now, as you saw, there was a new rune that you are probably not familiar with. This will be available from the intermediate dungeon after this update. So this will be for the Cannoneer promotion to give him 1 or 2 more clusters with these strikes. So you probably want to farm a +2 if you want to use this hero. So that's a new rune from the intermediate dungeon after this update. But let's see how he will fare with these items and with these races. Now, if I run him with my Town Archers, he's not gonna be doing a whole lot of damage. But if I run him like a soul-only AoE unit, he's gonna be doing a little bit of damage. And you can see a lot of like explosions on the ground when the wave is going, so that is the cluster shot from the Cannoneer. Let's see our damage results in here. So as we can see, he is the #1 damage dealer in this current setup right here, right now. I do have the full fire tree, and you probably saw he gobbles quite a lot of MP as well. But I do have the full fire tree to boost him. These nodes over here also now boost the cluster shot as well. And also I have the powder damage runes in the gold tree. These will also boost the mechanic rams or the Cannoneer's damage as well. So I basically have everything in the skill tree for him. So he does some decent damage when used as a only AoE unit basically. However, I'm not sure if that's... I mean, that's quite a lot of damage. Let's do another test. It's quite a lot of damage. But is it better than the options that we have, like Goblin, for example, or just running Ice Sorcerer or Poseidon? As it is right now, I'm not sure. He's also kind of a bugged in beta. Sometimes he just like stops attacking at all. So testing him in Infinite Colony is really hard because he just kind of bugs out and just stops attacking completely. So I expect that it will probably be fixed in the future before this update goes live, hopefully. But yeah, with this kind of setup, he can do some pretty serious damage with these items, at least. With my items, with my area skill damage lines, his blast damage goes from 250% to 458%, so 460%. Basically, that's a pretty huge buff with the area skill damage lines. I don't have a CD items for him, so that's also a little bit of a bummer, but those are pretty cool items to test with. So this is a new thing that we are getting, and that's pretty decent update. I think new heroes, new promotion, that's always a great thing, right? Another change, or well, maybe like an upgrade to previous beta, was that if you are using the search function right now, instead of just like the items being highlighted here and there, if you use this function and set up something like cold pro hit, for example, the items that has those lines will immediately be brought to the top instead of just being scattered all around. So that makes finding decent items a lot easier. So I think this is a really solid upgrade. This is a really nice quality of life thing again for the search function. So as you can see, all the double stun items will be at the top in here instead of being scattered all around. So it's really easy to spot what items you have with the lines that you desire. And then we have a couple of maybe not so pleasant changes, maybe something that's really like making me feel like this update is not gonna be that great after all. The first one is considering the towers, the tower upgrade. First of all, in the skill tree, there's been a change to the bottom skill node in here. So this one is now area damage property. So area skill damage will now work on the towers, which currently just means it will work on the Thorn Worm. However, what was in here in the previous version of the beta was the cooldown, well, the E line property. So cooldown skill level +1 line property, for example. And that missing means that you can no longer get a cooldown skill level +1 lines or any other E lines to work on your towers. So if you were hoping to stack a lot of CDE lines for your build after this update for the towers, sadly that is not going to be possible because that property is now removed, so we cannot get more CDEs for the towers, which I feel is pretty much a letdown, because it was something I was really looking forward to, farming a lot of XP dungeons for the runes and getting that those CDE lines. So, but now we have the area skill damage property for the Thorn Worm, who has been, by the way, nerfed heavily. His basic attack has been reduced, his cooldown has been increased, his skill duration has been decreased, and also his area damage has been reduced from 200% to just 100%. So that's a huge nerf for the Thorn Worm. However, now that you can use area skill damage line, in here, for example, we can see I can use 2 items with critical damage and area skill damage line in here. The crit chance does not work, so that is a useless line. And double crit damage, area skill damage line in here. So with these, I can pump up that area damage of his to 272%. So that's a kind of an upgrade to the previous one, but with all the nerfs, his overall damage is not going to be lower than what he had. So let's try him in my current Town Archer setup in a way where he would be like replacing my DLA in terms of damage. So this is like a 0.03 something ratio for this build. And otherwise, let's try this build. It's my Town Archer build. We have just DLA, just level 10,000 now in here, because that gold would go to the Thorn Worm instead. And let's see how much damage the Thorn Worms does, if we can even survive this. And then let's try also if we just kind of drop Town Archers again completely and just like use the Thorn Worm as a main AoE crown clearer instead. So let's see how much that does instead. But I can say he's no longer the most OP damage dealer, and very likely he can do a little bit of damage. So in here, as you can see, okay, 13% damage, which is better than nothing with 0.03 something ratio. It's not that bad. The boss damage, of course, is non-existent still, again. But he's like no longer the ultimate OP #1 damage dealer, even without items. So keep in mind that these items are pretty solid for the Thorn Worm. But let's try changing this in a way that we are going to be using Thorn Worm as a main AoE clearer. Here is that setup. So in here right now, we just have the cannons. They're not going to be doing any damage, so Town Archers are basically dropped. DLA is now having his or her normal levels in here, and we now have the Thorn Worm on level of 590,000. We can do that on a 600,000 to be like a very pleasant number. This is like 0.04 something ratio for me currently, so pretty decent ratio. That would be something that you might want to run. So let's see how much damage they are going to be doing with this one. Now, they are not, like I said, they are not the OP damage dealer that we had, which would have been really fun, kind of. So now they can do damage and they can like kill stuff. The question is, are they still worth like the money? Are they still worth like the investment? Because they do require stone. They do require stone because stone also gives them more tower attack and attack speed. So if you don't have stone, then their performance will be much less. But with these items, again, the items are area skill damage and critical damage lines. With also the luck orb, so this is a very strong orb to sacrifice for a tower. They can do damage. However, in here, out damaged by Succubus, for example, for this line. So they can be like on the same level of damage than my Succubus and my Zeus with this ratio, which is, of course, it's better than nothing. Is it something that you really wanna run? I'm not sure. I haven't tested on a low level account yet, but yeah, now the Thornworm can do damage, but the thing that we can't actually get CDE lines for the towers anymore kinda makes running a tower for damage dealing much less appealing than what it would have been with the initial beta, where we could actually use CDE items for the towers as well. So that kinda makes me feel sad, because I was so much looking forward to using those CDE items. But let me know what you think. We also have another change in the beta still, which is now regarding the military band F. And okay, her new promotions jump chance has now been reduced from 100% to 70%. So I guess this is like developers' way to like compromising things, I guess, which is well, it's better than nothing, sure. However, it's still like, it's just a pay-to-win update still, and now just instead of giving them 100% more basically extra skips with using time out of battle compared to what we have right now, they are now getting like 100, like 50% more skips waves instead from the tab than what they are getting right now with the normal military band female promotion and the orc band promotion. So it's still a very high pay-to-win update, even with the reduced chance for the jump. So I don't personally really think this changes anything. It's still gonna be pretty much impossible to compete with the pay-to-win players if this goes live like this. But it really highly looks like that this might be what we are gonna be getting, because it already changed from 100 to 70%. Will he change it again? I doubt it, but hopefully. But I still don't really enjoy that military band female promotion. But that's the another not so pleasant part of this beta. But those are currently the changes in the beta. What do you think? Do you think they are good or they are bad? Let me know in the comment section, please. And we'll see when this goes live, or if we get some more changes in the beta before the official release. I kind of hope we do, because there's a lot of things I'm not really super pleased with this beta, but we will just have to wait and see, I guess. Meanwhile, let me know in the comment section, what are you thinking right now about this update?